I've tried Weight Watchers, that didn't work. I've tried fasting, that didn't work. I've tried low carb or Atkins, that didn't work. Why do most fitness programs fail?
A lot of these programs, they're built around short-term change. I want the most outcome for the least effort.
I think a lot of programs are almost like one-trick ponies.
The same strategy isn't going to work forever. The coach has to mold around the client, not the other way around.
Sometimes it's purely down to the client. People will have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. What if I go all in and it doesn't work? And my response is like, well, you'll never know until you do. Things to look out for if you're looking at joining a program, again, is...
I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Olliver.
Welcome to the Supra Human Show, yeah?
Why do most fitness programs fail? So we're in the online coaching world, have been for, since 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Not quite 10 years, but we're getting there.
Yeah, just as we started to finish uni. Well,
yeah.
you did, didn't you? And I started the year after.
But I think the thing that I see over and over is people changing fitness programs continuously. And they're not really with the same program for more than 6 to 12 weeks. And then they'll go to someone else. And even when we onboard clients, they'll talk to us about things that they've tried in the past and why they didn't work. And I think there's probably a few recurring themes. And I will say sometimes it's purely down to the client. Yeah. Where like those, it's not that the programs failed them, it's that they failed the program in the sense of like they just weren't doing it. You see it all the time where people will talk about, you know, I've tried Weight Watchers, that didn't work. I've tried fasting, that didn't work. I've tried low carb or Atkins, that didn't work. And it's like, well, they all do work when you adhere to them.
I guess there is something to be said for it's almost like the combination of the two. It's the program and the client.
Yeah.
There's always going to be this relationship going on between the two, because some programs, they're very rigid. So they work for like a specific group and they don't work for a lot of people. And that's not the client's fault necessarily. It's just the program doesn't cater to a wide range of people. So they just jumped into the wrong program for them. But there is this, but then there are some circumstances where it's like the client has no willingness to change anything. So they keep jumping on programs, and every program requires you to change behavior to some degree. And they're like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah. And also, it's like not a one size fits all. Like a program may work for you for a certain amount of time, then it needs to change. Because I've had clients come to me and they'll even go, oh, I know what works for me. And like they'll be like, oh, well, when I fasted, I dropped 20 pounds. It's like, well, but you're back up 20 pounds now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it'll work until it doesn't.
They work to an extent. And then they stop working, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
And then that's where you'll change programs, and that always cracks me up when they say like I know what works well for me. It's like,
how are we here?
300.
How are we here? Yeah.
Why are we having this conversation?
But I go to a doctor. No, I know how to solve my knee issue.
Your legs hanging off.
And it's like just using that fasting one as an example. It's like, oh, it worked for the first 6 weeks, but then you had a business meeting, which was breakfast, which you had to eat that, and then you didn't know how to handle it because you couldn't fast anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is why like we always say there's a certain tactic you use for a certain client at a certain point.
Yeah.
Whereas like I use, even just like personally, I've used different tactics at different times, and they've worked at varying degrees. But I think like if I used some strategies that I used in my prep, for example, I wouldn't do them now. So it's the right tactic for the right person at the wrong time. Yeah. It's like that you always your strategies will shift, and that's where a good coach can look at what's going on and have these conversations with you and be like, I think this might be the right thing to put into play now, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we'll make shifts again. But I think some people, they did something that worked for them previously, and then they think, well, this is going to work for me forever. And it's like that's very rarely going to be the case.
No. Like I think a lot of programs like rely a lot on like willpower as well, but at the end of the day, like this industry wouldn't be as profitable as it is with repeat customer business. Like if it was just solely on willpower.
I mean, I think if you break a program down, and we could say like, well, what does a program need for it to work? I think a client needs to, or a customer needs to align with the underlying message or the brand. Because I think even if the program's good, but you just don't quite like how something is presented or the overall message, I think the buy-in is down, adherence goes down. I think the actual fulfillment has to be reasonable, you know, in terms of like touch points, communication cadence, and then it's kind of how the the program, diet, training is presented. Is it doable for the client, and is it catered towards their needs? And then it's like you said, Ryan, like, does it change based on results, or is it just you're just beating the same thing over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Because I think from what I've seen from a lot of other online coaches, it's and I know we love to crap on him, but like the David Goggins approach, where it's you just got to want it more. Like, and there's no like, this is what I mean. I know we titled this like why programs fail, but there's a huge difference between a programmer and a coach. Like a programmer, AI could do. You can throw in information, it can spit out a program, which is probably very reasonable. But if we look at most of the population, most people know what they need to do to become healthier or lose weight or whatever their goal is. Like if you asked anyone on the street, how do you lose weight? I think most would go eat less. Like eat less and move more.
And do some exercise.
So it's like, okay, you've got the fundamentals kind of already there. They're not kind of like eat more, like lay down more. Like they're not going to say something like absurd. But then it's like, okay, so you know what to do. Why don't you do it? And that's where like programs don't work. You need a coach to figure out the root problem as to why you're not doing the things that you know you should be doing. And that's where like I say programs, like we're looking at like a company like Supra Human, or like just an online coaching program. Like we're not talking about like a training program, but I think that's where a lot of them do fall short, where the coaching doesn't go deep enough into that individual's habits, behaviors, perceptions, beliefs to start breaking those things down. It's just like, just stick to the plan. Just do it. And there is a time and a place for that kind of coaching when you've kind of exhausted all options and you're kind of like, fucking dude, you just need to like stop overthinking it and just get it done. Yeah. But I think a lot of people will go to that way too soon and won't even address any other conversations about figuring out like why is someone not doing the thing.
Yeah, that's it. Like the what is very rarely the issue, is why aren't they doing it? And obviously just telling someone what to do is like, yeah, but I have 4 kids, I have a full-time job, I'm a full-time parent. And it's like, how do you integrate this stuff into their lifestyle? Not just, oh, you just got to want it more. It's like, yeah, but how do I do this with everything that I've got going on? And that's where the real coaching comes in.
There's a lot of clients that I've spoken to where they've got in great shape in the past, and then I kind of asked them, well, what did they do? And normally it's like some bodybuilding-esque approach where it's like very restrictive. It might be like 5 to 6 meals a day, 5 foods total. It's like egg whites for breakfast, chicken, rice, whatever. Super effective. But they didn't learn any of the reasons why it worked. They just blindly followed it for like 12 weeks aggressively, and it was massively inconvenient. It pissed off all of their family because they weren't eating, they weren't taking part in anything. They were probably, I don't like the term overtraining, but they were probably like, in terms of like, can you do too much? But like, they were probably doing more than they needed to do to get the result. And there was no transition out of that once they lost the weight. So it was kind of like, cool, I've done my 12 weeks. Now what? And they just start eating like they used to eat, and then they gain all the weight back, and they're like, oh, now I need to do it again. And so there's no like
long term.
There's no exit strategy or long term kind of game plan.
I think that's where a lot of these programs, they're built around short term change. It's just I need to create a plan that's going to drive short term behavior change, and that's it. And then what happens is then you do see short term results, but then, and I think this is where, when I first came to Superhuman, I thought they did really well, was they address behavior change on so many more levels than a standard program does. It's like, again, think of what, your standard fitness program. They give you a somewhat plan from a nutrition standpoint, and then a training program to follow, and maybe a little bit of social support, a small bit from the coach, which might be like a bit of a lower quality check-in or something. So again, it's like, that is enough to maybe move the needle for some people. But to really make a full transformation whereby they've gone from out of shape to in elite shape and are in a position to sustain that for long periods of time, now you're looking at like developing knowledge and understanding, encouraging the change in identity. You're looking at making friends with people around you and surrounding yourself with people around you that are going to support that change as well. Then it's talking about the physical, the environment from home and things like this, where you're building a physical environment around you that is going to drive that. Then there's the community element of it within Superhuman as well, which then drives it even further. There's, real hands-on support from a coaching standpoint to learn all these different phases. There's the office hours calls, like all these things, they all play a role. And that's why, like, when someone first comes into the program, I'm like, if you go all in on everything that the program has on offer, it's almost impossible not to make progress, because we've almost covered all angles here. There's not many more that you can cover.
It's a really good point there when it's if you use all of those things, because you'll still have people that will sign up to a program and it's like, cool, like this program is the Ferrari, and they keep it in the garage and they don't learn how to drive it properly, and they're like, oh, like gear stick shit, like, oh, it always stalls, and it's like, well, you haven't learned to use it, and you're there and it's like, I didn't really like it, and it's like, but you didn't use all the toys and gadgets that were available to you, and that's where I would put it back on the client, where like no program can help a client that isn't ready for change and ready to, like, again, like our like slogan, go all in, like you, and then because when we say that, that doesn't mean, bin off all of your current, lifestyle habits, quit your job, become a full-time physique athlete, go all in and do it. It's go all in the sense of like, actually make the decision that you are going to start changing these habits and behaviors. And that might be like, I'm going all in, I'm going for a 15-minute walk every day. Like that doesn't mean just flipping your life upside down, but it's the mental decision to say, I'm going to make the change and I'm going to fully commit to this program. And because I think a lot of times people they'll have one foot in and one foot out for fear of failure. And it's like, well, if I tell myself I'm not going to fully try, then when it does fail, because I didn't go all in, I can say, well, I wasn't really trying anyway. Whereas because it's like, well, what if I go all in and it doesn't work? And my response is like, well, you'll never know until you do. And it's like, you'll always get people like, yes, it didn't work for me. And it's like, so it worked for like these thousands of other people that have very, very, very similar lifestyles and situations to you, but it didn't work for you. And I can always look at it and say, because you didn't try. It's just, you didn't really go like, and that doesn't say they all follow the same program, but it's like they didn't make that decision to actually change.
That's some of the conversations we have with clients as well. It's like when we have everything there to be successful and they still don't do it. Like a question is like, why don't you want to go all in and do these things? Like this is going to solve your problem. Like that comes with a deeper conversation of whether like common one, they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe that they can achieve it. And like that's where the coaching starts.
It's I wouldn't say it's like a, what's the word? Like a regular occurrence. I wouldn't say it's typical for coaches to kind of use that approach that we do, where it's almost opposite, where like they would go straight into like, you can do this, like you just need to be more motivated, like, and it's like all that like inspiration, like just wafting smoke up your ass. Whereas we're kind of like, why don't you want to change? And they'll go, well, I do. And I'll go, well, if we look at all the evidence of your behaviors, you tell me, does this look like someone that truly wants to change? And they'll be like, no. It's like, right, so like, let's look at why you don't want to change. Because there are upsides to not changing. Like, it's far more convenient to not change. Like, it's far
the solution.
It's far easier to be okay with where you are and not do anything. So it's like, there is an upside. And I don't think people even go into that kind of conversation. And it's like, well, if there's more pros than cons of staying where you are now to changing, then you're probably going to stay where you are. So our job is to try and shift that scale, but you can't do that until you have that conversation.
That's a great task, guys. Mine when you're in that situation, like write the pros and cons of changing versus not changing. And when they write that out, you can be like, well, I can understand why you're not changing. There's more pros not to.
Exactly. And I think as well, like one thing we do a good job at is like, yes, we want all of our clients to reach their goals and get amazing results, and we do. But also, I don't put any morality towards the change, where if someone doesn't want to change, I'm like, cool. Doesn't make you a bad person.
No.
If you want to be 250 pounds or whatever, cool. Like, I'm never going to go, you should want to lose weight. My job is to just go, well, if you don't lose weight, these things might likely happen. If you do lose weight, these things might likely happen. You can make an informed decision. And my job is to help you either way. But I think a lot of coaches will almost like force their own desires of the client onto the client. And I did this as a personal trainer. It's like I thought everyone wanted to just get big and jacked. And then you kind of realize like, oh, that's not their goal. So why am I treating them like that? I'm frustrating myself because they're not doing the things I want them to do. And it's like, well, you haven't really asked them what they want to do.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of programs are almost like one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can work with one type of client and get one type of result. And that I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, because like you'll attract those people and you'll get really good at that niche of like, I work with X type of people that want this result. And you're honest about it. And it's like, I don't work with these people. I can't deal with that. I'm not going to do this. You'll over time, you'll naturally attract those people. But I think what we've done really well is we've attracted like a huge demographic of different worlds. We've got business performers, business owners, CEOs, we've got male, female, stay-at-home mums. We've got guys that are doing, high rocks and ultra marathons and things. And we've managed to kind of cater for all of those. And I wouldn't even say we're jack of all trades, because we've got the coaches in each of these areas that is their wheelhouse. And so we've managed to kind of build a team of like Willy Wonka's flavor factory, that it's like, hey, like, you don't like that?
Olympus,
yeah, you don't. Yeah, well, the average height is probably Oompa Loompa status of the team. But it's kind of like we've got someone for everyone. And so if you're not going towards your goal now, or you want to kind of do something else, it's like, cool, we've got an expert in that field. And it works really well.
There's a really good way to look at it where if you think about like what certain programs do offer to certain people, the more well-rounded the program from a behavior change standpoint, the more likely the client is going to get the outcome that they want. So like a program like something which is like $9.99, you pay on an app and you get a generic training program. Chances of that doing anything is like 5%, let's just say. And then it's like, then there's a program which gives you some recipes as well. That goes to like 7.5%. And as it comes more hands-on, then you've got like the one-to-one coaching, then you've got weekly check-ins, you've got some calls, you've got the education materials. As you keep going up that ladder, it gets more and more and more chances. And I remember when I first came in with Supra, I remember looking and being like, is there anything that we could add to what we do that is gonna, again, increase that chance again? And I was looking, and I was like, there's not, I can't find anything that we can add. So then when someone comes into the program and they're like, this isn't gonna work for me, I'm just like, well, again, maybe it could be something as basic as like, I just don't vibe with the community. So in that case, maybe it isn't for you, fine. But if you're looking for something more hands-on, I'm like, if this isn't working for you, I don't know where you go from here.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're covering as many angles as you possibly can. I'm really struggling to identify as where we can add to this program. So if this isn't working, the odds are not great. You're going to have to find something pretty different.
The other thing as well is like you mentioned, what else could we add in terms of like services to help people with behavior change, habit change, support, all of these things. But also, I think there's a lot of programs that go way too overboard with things that they give clients. Whether it's like PDFs, spreadsheets,
Tangible.
A million recipes, and all of these like tangible things. But a lot of times it's like massively overcomplicating the process, and then the client feels overwhelmed, and it's like, I can't do it. It's like going from, right, I've just finished high school and now I'm enrolled in my PhD. And you're getting thrown all of these terms and things. You're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And like, it's like programs don't meet clients where they are. And so, again, we've got clients that have loads of experience in this area, and we meet them where they are. Like maybe they're at master's level, and now, cool, we'll start you at PhD. And then you got others where it's like, you didn't finish school. Like we're going to go and meet you at that level. And I think sometimes people will sign up to programs that won't like meet them. They're just like, well, here's the start point, get with the program or whatever. And so that, that might be like, everyone does flexible dieting and macros. And you're like, I've never tracked my food before. Tough. Learn, like Google it, learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas, if we have clients that say, I've never tracked, or I've got no interest in tracking, cool. We can start you off some basic, meal templates that we can advise you on. We can just give you some tips from like, healthy eating plate style, like palm size things. There's so many different tools that we can use. And so I think we're we're not rigid at all in our approach with how we, because I always say, like, we're just biased towards results. We're not biased towards any type of program.
But that's where it's we serve an outcome. We don't serve a program.
Yeah.
So which is why it's like, it's not like we don't give out loads of things because we don't know if those things are necessary to get you the outcome. We give you what is necessary to get the outcome. Whereas I think some people, when they give a program, they want to just give people tangible things so there's a perception of value. So it's like, I've paid X amount. I've got this free t-shirt. I've got this membership to this thing. I've got a call with this guy. I've got some PDFs. I got a book. I got all these things. But if none of them result in any change, that's just wasted. That's just clutter.
Yeah.
It's like, what we're looking to do is get you to get the outcome that you want. And whatever's needed to get you to that outcome, that's the avenue we'll go down. If it means we need to give you X, Y, and Z, we will give you X, Y, and Z. But we're not just going to give you stuff to make you think like you'll get in value. The goal is just to get you the outcome that you actually want.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well, what we do as well, like what you said, Ben, is like, oh, well, just learn it because this is the start point. Whereas, well, what we'll do is like, okay, well, what skills do we need to develop to get you to the next level? And if the example is like tracking food, it's like, cool, let's start here. And we're going to focus on developing the skill together of learning to track food. Like this week, I just want you to track breakfast for me. And this is how you do it. And give an example.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what is the skill deficit that's stopping you from achieving the next level? And we're going to work together to develop that skill.
It's that where you meet them and that rate of progress is so important because, like, you know, you're one of your clients where, like, I think the first change you made was just, we're going to go from drinking Dr. Pepper to diet Dr. Pepper. And, you know, you could look at that and go like, you know, I've got a fantastic coach here, you know, master's degree,
Genius.
paid all this money, and all he's telling me to do is drink Diet Coke. And my view is like, but that's the genius because a lesser coach would go, right, we're going to start you off some egg whites in the morning. You know, you're just going to drink water, like, you know, and it's going to be this real restrictive thing. And the guy's going to go, fuck that. Like, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper and smoking cigarettes. Like, I'm just not doing it. And that's you going, well, I've had a call with this guy. I can kind of suss out how he thinks. I can probably get a good idea of what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. I also want to get some quick bang for buck results, minimal, you know, interference with his life, you know, in terms of having to change everything. It's like, this is a real easy switch that we can make. And it worked beautifully, which then increased his buy-in. And then you're like, cool, next level. And then you go to the next thing.
Go on.
But no, I think a lot of times coaches will implement these like advanced practices, whether it's like macronutrient timing or a supplement regime or whatever it is. And it's not for the client's benefit, it's for theirs. Because they want to share it on social media and be like, look at the plans that I create. You know, whereas if Ryan's like, look at the plan that I gave him, Diet Dr. Pepper, you'd be like, whoa, well done, coach. But it's like the only thing I care about is the result.
Yeah.
It's like, did you achieve the result? Yes or no? Because I would take someone that can get the result crazy simple. Then like, oh yeah, we got the same result with this guy, but he was, you know, taking 20 different peptides. You know, he was doing this supplement stack. He hasn't eaten, you know, any white foods or, you know, any gluten in the last 12 weeks. And Ryan's
His
like,
meals were timed.
Yeah, his meals were timed. You know, he's working off his stopwatch, and then Ryan's like, yeah, diet Dr. Pepper worked like a charm. It's like, I'll go that guy like, every time.
He dropped like 20 pounds.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
3 weeks
yeah,
or something
right.
like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say is you can have, if you had gone down the route of you're going to have ground beef and egg whites for breakfast, we're only going to drink water, we're going to train X amount of times a week, I want your cardio to be at X, Y, and Z, you're going to do some intervals, you're going to do this, like all this stuff in his program. You've given him loads and he could have got nowhere because there's just too much. And yet what you did is you changed barely anything and you got him down 20 pounds or whatever from it. So it's like, what we're in the game of is not like, again, I'm not sure if I'm stupid or whatever, but it's like I want the most outcome for the least effort.
Yeah.
Because then if I put more effort in, I get even more outcome. It's not a game of maximum effort. Like you don't get like, oh, well, this guy he's still 40 pounds overweight and he hasn't lost any weight, but he just try hard.
He's trying his best.
Yeah, he tries his socks off.
Yeah.
It's like, because now we know that you've maxed out nearly your work capacity and you're still getting nothing for it. So you're almost quite stuffed. But if you can have minimal effort and maximum outcome, well, now it's like, as long as I just keep dialing this effort up bit by bit by bit, which I've got loads of wiggle room, the result is going to keep on going. But yeah, it's like you're getting the maximum outcome for the least effort, and that's what you want to get, because then it's like now you got loads of runway to go.
Well, and you're more likely to stick to it that way. It's like I'm putting in very little effort and I'm getting the result.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you ever watch the show My Wife and Kids?
Yes.
Like Damon Wayans.
yes.
Yeah.
But I remember an episode, and like because he owns like a trucking business, and his son goes and works for him, and then his son's giving it the big one because he's like the son of the owner, and he tells all the guys like to load up one truck with like all these like they're like washing machines or like fridges, like real awkward shit. Loads up 2 trucks, and he's put the wrong stuff in the wrong trucks, and so his dad's like, "You're gonna have to change it," and he's like lugging these things around, doing all this work, and he's like, "I did it," and he's like, "You know what I would have done?" He's like, "I'd have just switched the drivers," and it's like, but it's like, and I was like laughing because it's like immediately people are thinking of like maximum output, like just hammer it, when really it's like there's probably a much simpler solution if you just give it some thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that like, I hate the term hacking because it's not hacking. It's just like, I'm exactly what you said. I want to do the easiest, simplest, most practical thing possible to get the absolute biggest return. Like, and because again, it's like, you know, hard work for the sake of hard work, I think is stupid. Like, I think hard work is likely necessary to achieve great results in anything, but that doesn't mean you start at hard work, like maximum output, like minimal return.
Save it for when it's needed. Like
exactly.
You look at, well, when this episode comes out, this is probably past, and I might look like a moron now. But this weekend you got the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. So let's just take boxing for example. When you first start, you don't just go, I just want the hardest bloke I can find. They don't. They go, let's get a couple of bums on the record. Let's start padding this thing up. And what they do is they pad the record up until like you've got a bit of a rep and a big name. Now it's like, now we're going to make the big cash. So now we're going to fight the hard guys to earn that money. There's no point fighting the hard guys for peanuts, but now we've got the capacity to earn big money. Now we'll fight the hard guys. And now you got Joshua fighting Jake Paul. It's like people are like, oh, you know, that's not great. Like, what do you mean? He's got the easiest fight for the most money. Like for him, he's like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my career. Like I can just, I don't even have to train. I can just rock up and I can get 70 odd million or whatever he's getting for it. Or I can fight this really, really hard bloke that I got to train 12 weeks for less than half that.
Take the easiest route, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's not saying never work hard, but you got to save the hard work for when it's necessary. So when you're in like, so you got £5 to go and you want to get like really shredded for whatever reason, that's going to be hard. So save your energy then. If you've maxed out your effort early, when you get to that part, I'm like, I'm spent. I got nothing left to offer here. Whereas if you've kept all that hard work back and now you've got to the part where you're going to need it, it's there ready to go.
I think people like the idea of grinding really hard from the get-go because it's almost like a badge of honor, you know?
100%.
Rather than saying, oh, well, I just switched one thing and I'm down 20 pounds. Just, I've been doing X, Y, Z all day, every day. I haven't stopped. It's like a badge of honor type thing, isn't it?
Do you know what we say to that? Ooh, you're hard.
Well, actually, keep that badge, mate. You can have that one.
But that's it. And like, and you see it in bodybuilding all the time, where it's like, you know, I ate no carbs and I did 2 hours of cardio and do whatever it takes. It's like, don't give a shit. The only thing that matters is how you look on the day. And like, you know, like I think the guy that competed against you was like, he dieted for 3 weeks and he just stopped eating McDonald's. And he looked awesome. Like, he didn't win, but like, I'd be like, I wish I could do that. I didn't go, oh, you should have suffered more. Like, it's like, no, you looked awesome. Like, why would you do more? Like, it's just, that's stupid. But it's, but again, it goes back to programs that will just, like it's a hammer for every tool, and it's just there's one approach, and again, if that approach aligns with you, then you might get great results to some extent, but inevitably it's gonna stop. And then if you've already done maximal output, where do you go from there? Like, and that's where you either rebound or change programs or whatever it is. And so I think, you know, with our program, it's always a gradual progression. And it's just, we only put as much weight on the bar, like analogy or metaphor or whatever, like as needed to grow. We're not just going to stack weights on and just, you know, tear everything apart day after day. It's just you do what you need to do, and that's it.
Yeah. And like when it stops working, like we're here to change the strategy when life throws curveballs, you know?
Yep.
Because like the same strategy isn't going to work forever, you know? When life throws curveballs, it's like, okay, well, what can we do here? What can we adjust to keep moving forward? You know?
And that's it. Like when you like going back to that sort of percentage odds that I gave with these programs, if a program works for 7% of people, like what it's reliant on is someone coming into that specific program as to where they've already got the other things in play, but the missing piece was like, I just didn't know how to train.
Yeah.
So then they bought this training program that like it really felt good when they did it. So they really enjoyed the program. So they started to hammer the program, and everything else was already pretty decent. So they got results. But again, that's the 5% of people, which is why it only works for a certain group. Whereas what we're looking to do is trying to cater for as many people as we possibly can. So again, if someone comes into the program and does everything that the program offers, and that's not even like do it to an absolute T. It's not like I'm just going to go all in and do whatever my coach says. It's be open to all aspects of it. So from a community side of things, I say like engage in the forums. If you start engaging with people and talking to people and learning from other people who are on a similar journey to you, it's just going to support your ability. If you speak to your coach, you know, once, twice, 3 times a week, just even if they're short conversations, and you communicate with any problems you have, if you get your check-ins done weekly, if you liaise with them consistently and follow the program, it's like, if you don't get, well, put it this way, I've been in Supra 3 years or whatever it is. You guys have been in even longer. I've never seen someone come in, do all of that, just to do the program with everything that it offers, makes all the office hours and things, and then go, it still isn't for me. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, I don't know if it's almost possible to come in, do everything that we offer, and still not get the outcome that you actually want.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think things to look out for, like if you're looking at joining a program, again, is like that underlying message or kind of like culture, because I do think that is a big one. I think that's what attracts a lot of people to Supra, because we tell it how it is. You know, it's very, very practical, very direct. You know, we don't give people permission to have those excuses. You know, we're not like, you're not losing weight because your metabolism's ruined. Join Supra and we'll fix it. Like, we don't talk like that. It's like, you know, typically our approach is like, you haven't lost weight because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And, you know, and we're not calling people lazy, but it's just, you know, we can help solve those problems that you are probably unaware that you have, and get great results. But then, yeah, you need to look at like, I think tangible things, you have to look at, well, what are the tangible things? Too much can be a bad thing. You know, what's the accountability piece? You know, do you have a coach? How do they communicate with you? Does the program meet you where you are?
And that's that key one is if they're trying to get you to meet them.
Yeah.
So you have to now rise to us. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
No, you have to, the coach has to mold around the client, not the other way around.
And then I think, you know, I would look at, does the program have a common theme in terms of like programming? Because I would view that as a red flag. You know, if it's, you know, it's a fasting company, it's a low carb company, whatever it is, because chances are you're going to hit a plateau and you're not going to know what to do, and they're not going to have the skills to adjust your plan. So it's making sure you're with a program that continually adjusts and adapts based on your lifestyle results and feedback. It's like, it's a live thing. It's not cool, go away for 12 weeks, come back, you know, and then I'll give you something else for 12 weeks. It's like, it's constantly changing based on that biofeedback and, you know, qualitative feedback from the client as well.
Results driven, isn't it? It's like, think of it like, you know, from a tattoo standpoint, it's like when you want a good tattoo, you go and look at the tattoos that he's done. And if you go, I like those tattoos, he can do one on me. You don't just think this guy talks about tattoos and he's like, oh, I'm going to use this pen when I do it, and I'm going to use this stencil when I do it, and it's like, no, let me see the outcomes that you have. And if that's an outcome that you want, well then.
And also then it's like, don't go to someone that just does tattoos of horses going, I want a dog, and then they give you a horse and you're like, this program's bullshit. It's like, well, you know, you probably should have looked at the evidence. And
you signed up for the horse.
Yeah.
That's why my tattooist has gone out of business.
Yeah.
My wife's name on my ass.
But yeah, I think there's some good things to look out for, you know, when you are looking at programs and things. And, you know, we're always going to back Supra because we're biased, but we try to keep it as, our goal is to give you as much information as possible that if you're, January's coming around, New Year's resolutions, a lot of people are looking for a program to sign up to. So if you do stumble across this episode, like just look out for those things so you can just make an informed decision when it comes to choosing the program that you think is going to be a good fit for you. Thank you as always for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, reminding you to always go get what's yours.